I wanted to ask you about too. I mean, earning, being awarded, I should say, the Distinguished Flying Cross. That's got to be like the ultimate honor. Let's get into that story, and also like what it was like actually receiving that and having your name in history among legends.
That was an interesting story because the engagement that happened on, uh, it happened, and we were attached as a guard unit to the active duty 82nd, right, to the 82nd, and it happened very close to the end of our tour. So when it happened, they said, "Yeah, we're going to put you in for this," and I'll talk about the event in a minute, but we're going to put you in for this this Distinguished Flying Cross. And at the point in time, I'll be honest, I didn't know what a Distinguished Flying Cross was. Like, I just didn't really care. I wasn't like, you know, I this is where I kind of let some of my guys down as a commander. I didn't put them in for decorations because we were out there just doing stuff, right?
Yeah.
And it was just the furthest thing from all of our minds, to be honest. We weren't thinking about that. And I think that the active duty does a better job of this because they know that those things matter down the road, right? They know that those things matter in your package. As a guardsman, we're like, yeah, we're here in the war, let's do it. You know, that's what we were thinking. And so I didn't know that. So they said that, okay, cool. But then we went home, reconstituted, and we were separated from the 82nd, and it never happened. It just didn't show up. And then my video of that event started getting used in like schoolhouses and stuff. Is like how to stay calm, how to do this and how to do whatever. And I transitioned over to the Air Force, and in an Air Force setting, my video was being played, and the commander behind me, he's like, "Hey, you were an Apache pilot. You know this guy?"
You know this guy.
And I was like, "Yeah, he's a jackass." No, I was like, "Yeah, I know him." And he goes, Who is he?" I was like, "Listen to the voice." And he's like, "Is that you?" And I'm like, he's like, "Yeah." And he goes, What'd you get for that?" And I was like, "Well, they were going to put me in for," this is 8 years later. This is 8 years. They were going to put me in for DFC, but you know, we got recon, you know, just didn't happen. He goes, oh heck no, we're going to fix that right now. So the reason I tell this story is because this is leadership, right? So here's a leader who sees something that he doesn't have to deal with at all, has nothing to do with him. That's 8 years ago. He goes, who was your brigade commander at the time? And I told him the name. He's like, "I know that guy. I know his brother." I'm like, "What are the chances you know that guy?" Right? and the commander in the Air Force, my commander in the Air Force, was a former Army guy as well. So there was a little continuity there. So he reaches out to that guy and he says, "Do you remember this situation?" He's like, "Yes, I do remember that situation." He goes, "You realize he didn't get anything for that?" He's like, "Well, that's not right." And so they started working this thing, and there's a years, 8 years, it has to go through a senator at that point because it's been so long. So they put it through the Senator Orrin Hatch, who's passed away. But he's at Utah. That's where I went to school, Utah State. And well, I get a call from their office saying, "We want to present you to the DFC, but since it's a politician, it's got to be a big deal," right?
Yeah.
Well, they gave me the choice of venues, and it was like this, and one of the choices was a halftime show of the Utah Jazz game, right? And my kid was 3 years old, loved sports already, so I was like, "That's the one we'll do," right?
That's cool.
So we went to the halftime of the Jazz game, and this is where it went like this, that I needed to do something with these experiences, because I walked out, the Jazz had been winning this game, and then they'd been cheering and there'd been whatever. And then this halftime, they call out, they start reading out the citation, and I kid you not, I couldn't hear it. I couldn't hear it because of the deafening crowd noise that didn't cease. It just kept going.
That's so cool.
And it gave me goosebumps, but it wasn't because of me, right? It wasn't because they don't know me. They don't know anything about me. All they know is I represent somebody who raised their hand that says, "I'll go do the stuff that most people won't." Right? And they appreciate that. And I'm glad that our country, whether you're Democrat, Republican, all those things, for the most part, we support our troops at this point, where there was a time where that wasn't the case. Right? So I'm grateful for that. But what it hit me was these significant life events that I experienced have benefited me. Crazy as they may be, they've benefited me. But if they happened only to benefit me, it seems kind of like a waste. Because look at how many people will stand up and scream at the top of their lungs just in hearing one of these events, right? And so that's when I was like, okay, I need to do something. I need to do something with these events that can get out there and actually reach and help people. And that's when I decided I probably need to write a book.